And you know one thing I noticed about James Hinchcliffe? He was on the reds. Everybody else is on the blacks. He's got to make these laps count. He's got to use that extra grip to try and pass some cars, and he could be a contender.
And again, I think Dario pitted because he thought the two ahead of him were getting slowed a little bit by James Jakes, but now James Jakes is actually pulling away from them, so they've probably gone into fuel save. Oh, and look at Dixon's going to the inside.
Yeah, Dixon is putting the pressure. I don't think Will is really used to this too much on the street courses. But Dixon is really applying the pressure.
Now, I don't know if
down the pit stops.
Sorry, I don't know if our screen's correct, but Power was on that overtake later than Dixon, so he was lucky there. I thought Scott would kind of force the issue, but Scott has been on fantastic form all weekend. He's been dancing that car around over the bumps, and, you know, that boy wants to win bad. There's no doubt about it.
Power may be struggling a little bit right now because Dixon's car does look better.
I think you're absolutely right, but you know what we've got to touch on is how.
And that's the caution. If this is a full course caution,
and it is,
it's gonna cook the leaders. Oh, so all those people who pitted early are going, yeah, baby, we did it.
Front, yeah.
Wow.
See, I told you they were going to be getting nervous, and it bit them.
Will Power is not Tagliani's friend right now.
No.
And vice versa.
These two guys just got burned.
The full course caution is coming out. And here comes Elio.
It'll be a closed pit, but you can see there was some front wing damage. You come in and fix it.
Guys, what a track this is. It bodes for some great racing. This is really going to change it up. We've got double file restarts.
And here's the reason for the full course caution. That's Elio.
Locked it up a little bit. We saw that earlier.
Tagliani stalls in turn number 3. There's the onboard shot from Justin Wilson.
Guys, and guess what? Elio took out Paul Tracy a year or two ago. Now he's taken out another Canadian. This is going to be unbelievable.
But he took somebody out and caused a yellow, and his teammate was leading, which is the one thing they didn't want.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Is this going to be happy families in the Penske camp?
That's a train wreck.
Oh, man.
And I'll tell you what, sometimes, you know, when your teammate is running really, really well and you're not, you start overdriving race cars. I mean, you know, Elio and those guys, they're trying to find something. They're trying to make you get frustrated when you're a driver when your teammate is doing so well.
Guys, and we've got to say, Elio Castroneves and Ryan Briscoe, they are great race car drivers. Will Power is doing an exceptional job. He's out-qualifying them by a big margin, so credit to him. But, you know, you can never discount Elio. That guy's a fighter, and obviously Ryan Briscoe, like I say, is very talented too.
Now, a little bit of predictions here, looking through who has pitted. Charlie Kimball has pitted, but it was early on, so if he peels onto pit road, that's going to put Dario Franchitti up into the lead.
And that's going to make Will Power extremely upset.
Oh, yes, because Will Power, once he cycles back in, is going to be way back. Of course, everyone has to peel off, and we're expecting a good group of them will have to.
And guess what we get to see? Paul Tracy on a double file restart. Guys, this is well worth watching.
And a Paul Tracy who already pitted, so he's going to move way up the order.
Now, how many laps are on his tires since he pitted, Paul Tracy?
Paul Tracy pitted on lap 19. So
12.
Yeah,
11 or 12.
So we've got some difference in tires here. Obviously, Franchitti's probably sitting in the best spot because he just pitted.
And it's going to get interesting in the pit lane too.
Here they come. Lindy, coming to you.
Mike Conway's crew's been set up for quite a while, watching what the others do and also watching their driver, Mike Conway, because his lap times have been driving. He's got a lot of understeer as he comes in. He will most likely get a front wing adjustment. You see them take off the reds and the blacks. Over to you, Kevin, for the leaders.
Will Power has the first pit position. He's going to slightly scuff blacks. He's packing it full of ethanol. Scott Dixon with the sticker blacks. Dixon a great stop, but not quite good enough. Mike Conway gets out third, then Graham Rahal and Sebastian Bourdais.
And our Sunoco race off pit road shows you that Simona De Silvestro gained 1 spot off the pit lane.
and there's our new leader, Dario Franchitti, because Kimball did pull off.
And they continue to work on Elio's car.
Incredible how it just changes.
Well,
because
that's the thing. You just knew we kind of set up the stage.
Yeah.
They were in the danger zone. They were in the danger zone. And finally, Dario's team said, you know, this is too risky. Let's pit. And, man, it paid big dividends. And look at Serbia there in second spot as well. We talked about Newman Haas. They know how to win this race.
Now, Serbia's a sleeper. You know, he's always there at the end. He's doing a fantastic job. He's been out the car for a couple of years, really come back, taking this opportunity with open arms and doing a great job for the team. And that, you know, that goes to show what a great team Newman Haas is also.
So Dario Franchitti is the leader, with Serbia running second, then Wilson, Hunter-Reay, and Hinchcliffe as the work continues on Elio Castroneva's car on pit lane. And Danica is getting the wave around. There you see the overhead shot of Castroneva's work on the front end of the car. Back in just a moment at under full course caution here in the streets of Toronto. The Honda Indy Toronto, 34 out of 85 laps are completed. Danica Patrick is 2 laps down, running back in 23rd position, and she talked just a few minutes ago on the radio about the marbles.
Radio check to you guys. All my fronts went first. Just started creating big under. Oh my God, there's so much rubber.
Talking about all the rubber off the line right there is what she was complaining about, and it's getting pretty thick out there, and obviously a lot of these guys running on the reds, the tires are wearing out, and it's all that stuff when you get in it, when you hit it with an Indy car, it's like hitting ice.
Yeah, the car really slides around. And we're only on lap 35 of 85. And you look at the marbles offline. You know, as these leaders have to pick through some of the cars, you see Will Power and Scott Dixon. They've got to overtake. When they get on that, they lose grip. And, you know, that becomes very risky, particularly when you're fighting for a championship. And the guy leading the championship is leading the race, too. So you've got to force the issue, and that's what Scott and Will Power are going to have to do.
And the drivers were told in the drivers' meeting they would sweep the corners as best they could during these full course cautions. All right, let's take another break under caution here at Toronto. The leader of the race is Dario Franchitti, holds on to the lead. We're on board with J.R. Hildebrand running in 10th position. And look at the traffic into 3.
Yeah, Serbia wanted to take a look.
Guys, and look at
a little contact
Marco
there.
Andretti getting by Vito. Oh, and Hildebrand gets pushed wide by Dixon.
Saavedra going wide. Here's Hildebrand. That's Graham Rahal taking the spot.
Nice pass right there.
Jay Asco's really sliding around there on that restart.
Back in third is Justin Wilson, then Ryan Hunter-Reay. Here's a good battle for fifth. That is Ryan Briscoe and James Hinchcliffe.
Oh, he gets to the inside. No, he gets chopped by
Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
And the problem is that's allowed Paul Tracy to close on in behind Ryan Briscoe. So, you know, he's going to have his mirrors full of a good Canadian that's desperate to get up front.
Here's Briscoe to the inside of James now into turn 1, and he gets him. And Scott Dixon moving up. Oh, Conway.
Vitor Mira.
All of a sudden these guys smell the front. Like everybody's standing up in their seat a lot more right now.
And there's Paul Tracy on the inside of Hinchcliffe, and he just oh no!
Look at this.
Tracy never gives an inch, never. This is 2 Canadians.
Yeah,
too,
look out!
Oh,
Tracy.
Boy, I think he saved that thing. He may have a little bit of damage on the wing, but boy, what a save.
Man.
Yeah.
Left front wing.
Yes, he does.
who said Canadians aren't competitive, huh?
Really? And Hinchcliffe.
He
locked the rear brakes there.
Yeah, flat rear tire.
wow.
Guys,
And James Jake spins.
Guys, and one thing that's been very apparent, Scott Dixon has been on a mission. He's up to 7, so he really has made the most of this restart. Here's Paul Tracy in the pits.
Yep, going to replace the nose on the car. This is the driving forward.
Oh,
it's a Ray.
Damage for Hunter-Reay. Wow. This is getting crazy.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like James Jakes also out the rookie. His first time ever to even be on this course. The only driver to not see this course. Paul Tracy in the number 8. He was in the catbird seat. When I talked to Jay Penske just a moment ago as we go to a full course yellow, I talked to Jay and he said, we're right where we want to be. If we can make it to lap 52, he passed 10 cars under green flag conditions earlier, plus we came in at the right time. Everything was looking good for Tracy until he got into it with his own countryman. He said that was one of the dumbest things he had ever seen as we take a look at it. Bob?
And here it is once again on board with Hinchcliffe. There is Tracy beside him, and contact coming up.
They make it all the way through turn 5, though. They just
good tight racing right there.
Keep after it. It's not till right here.
And they just didn't give each other an inch. You could see, actually, Paul Tracy had contact with Briscoe as he was trying to stay on the inside of Hinchcliffe. And then, you know, obviously Hinchcliffe just didn't give him quite enough room.
And J.R. Hildebrand and Scott Dixon as they head into turn number 3.
Yeah, look to the right, and you'll see Dixon.
Oh, yeah.
And Dixon knows he had to go forward on a restart. He did a phenomenal job. It's up to 6th place. You know, Will Power, he restarted in 12th and is only 11th. So Scott really capitalized on that. And, you know, he's going to feel better having less cars around him on this next double file restart. Randy's looking very smart. Randy Bernard is, you know, with these double file restarts, it's really spiced up the racing, certainly here at Toronto.
Down to Kevin in the Izod Pit Performance Center.
Let's talk about the performance of Team Penske. It has been un-Penske-like, despite the fact that they've got a driver in the championship. They were not all that competitive at Indianapolis. Helio Castroneves is having another rough day, not on the lead lap. He's mired back in 12th in points. Will Power is back in 11th place, and bad luck today for Will Power, or you could say maybe a good strategy gamble for the likes of Dario Franchitti, who came in a little bit earlier than Scott Dixon. Ryan Briscoe is still in the mix, running in the top 5, but he desperately needs a win to make his season what he would like it to be. He has worked his way up to a rough start through no fault of his own, up to 6th in the championship.
Guys, and as we're on board with Briscoe here, I'm not sure Ryan Hunter-Ray has pitted for a new front wing. I could be wrong here, but I'm surprised he's not making the most of this yellow. There's Paul Tracy leaving the pit lane.
Long pit stop for Paul. He goes back out onto the course.
I hope for James Hinchcliffe's sake he is nowhere near him.
Canadian fans saw contact between 2 of their favorites, James Hinchcliffe and Paul Tracy.
And that's what James had said. Someone asked him what was it like being an IndyCar driver for Hinchcliffe? And that's the confirmation, Dan, about the wing damage for Ryan Hunter-Ray. But for Hinchcliffe, he walked out to the applause of the crowd. He was feeling really good about himself until Paul Tracy walked out behind him and the crowd went wild. He said that was very humbling.
Now, this was in the morning warm-up and a bit of an on-track skirmish between Hinchcliffe and Tracy also that we showed you in our pre-race show, and a little bit of hand gesture there by James Hinchcliffe.
Almost lost it when he took his hand off to wave at him.
And you can just see, like, when you get on the power in these cars over those bumps, it really kicks around. It's this is one of the most physical racetracks. You got to be on point all the time. You're very easy to lose a car over the bumps, and particularly as the tires get worn. And you got to be on your game on these double file restarts. It's truly a spectacle for the fans watching. A lot of these guys, you see them back and forth with the wheel, trying to clean up the tires, and you know, that becomes very important when you've got a heat cycle on them.
On this date in 1994, Al Unser Jr. won at Cleveland. Second place was Nigel Mansell, and third, Paul Tracy. And in 2005, Justin Wilson won here at Toronto with Servia second and Alex Tagliani in third position. And you were at Goodwood, Dan, and I want to get this in because you talked with Nigel Mansell.
Yeah, I had a great time with him, and you know what's great about Nigel, he understands how competitive the IndyCar Series racing is, you know, what great racetracks we go to, and he's a huge fan.
Graham Rahal in.
And you may have noticed that he had a right rear tire down.